and welcome to River Walks. This is Shoreham Beach in West Sussex and today I'm walking up the River Adur. In the past, this river has been known as the Beading River, the Alder and even the Wheeled Ditch. It was once an important transport route and there's evidence of settlements in the area dating back to the Neolithic times. I'm following the river from its mouth to the foot of the South Downs at Coombes, a distance of just over 5 miles. The seas around Sussex have provided food for the locals through the ages, and some traditions remain unchanged. And to start my walk, I'm going to go shrimping. Peter Elsden and Andy Horton enjoy shrimping the old-fashioned way. Pete.
Hello.
I've got my waders on,
Yeah.
got the net.
Yeah.
I mean, this net is huge.
They're normally bigger.
Bigger?
Yeah.
I mean, that's big enough. And
Yeah.
shrimps are only tiny little things.
I know, but you need a bigger net for the wider area. The bigger the
Okay.
net.
They don't look very brand new, do they? They look quite traditional
No,
looking.
probably 40, 50 years old,
Oh, right.
homemade.
Homemade? Were they always homemade then?
Yeah, yeah. Most people had a shrimp net in their back garden.
All right. And I mean, how long's shrimping been happening here?
12th century, there's been accounts of shrimps being sold, but it was the Victorians that really made the heyday of shrimping.
They made it really popular, did
Yeah.
they? I mean, how long have you been shrimping?
Just over 20 years.
And what do you like about it, apart from all the shrimps, fresh shrimps?
Yeah, I love the sea. It's not knowing what you're going to catch.
Oh, okay.
One day you can come down and the whole net will be full up with shrimps, and the next day just a few, because they can be affected by the wind and tide.
Shall we have a go then?
Okay.
Are you going to I've never been shrimping before, so you're going to have to give me a few
Right.
tips.
Okay. Right, put the net in the water.
I've gathered that much.
Yeah. With a
Right.
bit in the stomach.
Okay.
Hands on the pole
Uh-huh.
and push.
And push. Oh, it's like pushing a giant broom along the seabed.
Yeah, I expect so.
So the shrimps here breeding, are they, or just
Yeah.
hanging out?
Yeah.
Breeding?
They're full of eggs, and then they hatch the end of June.
All right, okay. Can we have a look? It's very exciting. I got one. Oh,
That's good.
they're very sweet. So when you cook those, they go pink, don't they?
A brownie.
Brownie colour.
brownie
Oh,
pink.
look at them.
Yeah.
Lovely. Well, I've only got one shrimp there and I feel very sorry for it. So I'm going to put it back in.
Oh, yeah?
I'd be rubbish at this, wouldn't I?
No, I'm sure you'll be all right.
We're back in. Where you go? Well, I think I'm going to carry on my merry way
Okay.
onto the River Adur. So it's nice meeting you, Pete, and I might see you again.
All right then, we'll do.
I don't think I've got much of a future as a shrimper. Shoreham is the nearest south coast port to London, so it's always been important. More boats were built here for Henry VIII's Navy than any other place. These days there's no shipbuilding, but the eastern side of the river is still home to a thriving commercial port. My walk is taking me along the beach and then up the southern side of the river past Shoreham Fort. Built in 1857, the fort was of cutting-edge design in its day, but is now in need of restoration. Now I think it's about time I had a bit of a mess about on a boat on the Adur River, and I've got just the man, Chris. How are you going, mate?
Hello, Charlie. Come aboard.
Right. Oh, thank you very much.
Careful now.
Right. Oh,
Okay.
right. Now, where do you want me to go?
Find
Out
yourself
the
a
way.
seat anywhere you feel like.
Sit down. Chris Linton is from Shoreham Sailing Club and has spent much of his life on the river. From the water, I can see that the Adur is a real working river. The eastern bank is home to industrial buildings, while waterfront housing has sprung up on the opposite side. Today, we've got the river to ourselves. Chris, this is a lovely boat.
Yes, it was built in Littlehampton in the 1950s. We've had it since new at Shoreham Sailing Club.
Oh, have you?
Makes a few of the members seasick, but we get a lot of use out of it.
Not on the river. I know.
No, not
I
on
know
the river.
Ada's tidal, but not that tidal. What's she called?
Sentinel.
Sentinel.
She watches over us.
Why are boats always sheaves?
That's because men are parochial.
And?
It's purely because it gets up the nose of their women. There's no other reason for it. Lots of people have wondered, but there isn't. I never call a boat she.
Oh, it's just us girls that do, is it?
Something like that.
I don't believe you. I have to say, Chris, the Ada looks like a real working river.
It's just real. It's an industrial harbour, plus it has all this people living on it. It's got life. People are using it for leisure activities. It's a wonderful place. The weekend, it teems with people. But there's all sorts of things that people do. Canoeists from the Ada Centre using the current on the other side to do their practices with their slaloms and things. Yeah, it's a very busy place.
So what made you fall in love with the River Ada then?
I had a baby. Well, I didn't. My wife did. But I used to take him away from her on Sundays because, funny enough, she managed to get pregnant with a second child somehow. And we just used to take him off somewhere. And I came here one day, walking along, and it was terrific. I just went for it. This place catches people very much. They do say about the beach here that you either live here for one winter or all your winters.
Thank you very much, Chris.
My pleasure.
I'm hoping the walk will dry my feet out. Sandwiched between Brighton and Worthing, Shoreham has never been famous as a seaside resort, but that has meant that the town has retained some of its natural charm. Shoreham's divided by the River Adur, and the south side of the water has quite an artistic heritage. Historian and geographer Jeff Mead has made a study of the fortunes of the town. Now, Jeff, the river literally divides the town in half, doesn't it?
Well, that's the town of Shoreham, and what we've got over here is Bungalow Town, or Shoreham Beach as it's been called since the war.
Is Bungalow unpopular, is it?
Well, it was a very bohemian place before. From about 1880, people started to live out on this kind of barren shingle windswept beach as holiday homes, and gradually they started to bring over railway carriages.
What?
Well, railway carriages are fun things. Lots of room, lots of light, very sturdy, and you could buy them very cheaply. You could buy them for about 25 quid, and they would deliver them, strangely, with no wheels on. And you put them down on a platform of railway sleepers, and you lived in them, summer homes. It brought down a big kind of theatrical, musical fraternity here.
Now, someone told me that this is the LA. It was the LA of filmmaking.
Absolutely. Until the 1920s, the early
sure?
90s. Absolutely. It was the place. More films were made here before World War I than any other place in Britain. You've got this wonderful light here, beautiful non-polluted skies, great dramatic backdrop of the Downs, the old town, the beach, the waves, and there was this big theatrical community which was already here, and all the scenery people, makeup people, light people. So they kind of naturally developed here. And one of the most famous stars, Joan Morgan, who was a local girl who was snapped up as a film star when she was about 15, eventually ended up in Hollywood, and she lived until into her 90s. She only died not too long back.
And is it still just as sort of arty and bohemian?
Yeah, it has become very fashionably bohemian. This houseboat colony survived along the riverside, and that's increasingly become like the artistic centre of Shoreham.
Can we go and have a look at them?
That's the very place.
There are all sorts of houseboats here, and some of them are works of art in their own right. Now, Jeff, there's loads of different houseboats here.
There's about 40 along this stretch of the riverbank.
Because that one's quite traditional. This one's mad. It's concrete.
Yeah, it was a World War II water carrier, and like all these along here, they all had an interesting life. There's motor torpedo boats, there's a German 1950s minesweeper.
Some of them don't look like they could actually float very long.
I don't think they do.
This one especially.
They just about cope with the tide.
A little bit of work on that one, I think.
Yes. But they're quite sought after because they're very particular. You've got to be a certain type of person who want to live on a mud bank. But it's a nice contrast to like the suburbia behind us and the traditional town on the other side. So it's like a third component of Shoreham, really.
So have you ever fancied living on one?
I would love to live on one of these, but persuading my Barbara might be another proposition.
I'm not sure it'd be the life for me either. Join me after the break when I'll be heading upriver. Welcome back. This is the River Adur in West Sussex, and I'm walking the section from Shoreham Beach to the foot of the South Downs. My journey today is around 5 miles and I'm about halfway. Flowing through the heart of the Sussex countryside, the River Adur has a few surprises along its banks. Now, the last thing you expect to come across on a river pathway is an airport, but that's exactly what's here. Shoreham Aerodrome was the birthplace of flight in southeast England and is still a working airport today. It's home to the Shoreham Airport archive, plus a few winged reminders of its glorious past. David Dunstall is an aeroplane enthusiast. Hello, David.
Hi, Charlie.
This is a fabulous plane.
It is 1930s Tiger Moth, used here for training, so if you want to experience the 30s, you can come back to Shoreham these days and do exactly the same.
It's great, and so it still flies?
Yes, absolutely. It's just been put back into flying condition.
So why is it called the Spirit of Pashley?
Pashley was a flying instructor here, served from here 1912 right through to the 30s, and the Tiger was a type of aircraft that he actually flew.
1912, so there's been an airport, Shoreham Airport's been here since then?
Absolutely, yes. It started a couple of years before then, actually.
And it's really unusual to come across an airport right next to the river.
Well, originally a salt marsh here. Since
okay.
waters receded, it seemed the obvious place where you could use a river for flying from as well.
And I believe there was a very special earlier flight, wasn't there?
There was. In 1910, a gentleman called Harold Piffard wanted to fly his own aircraft design from Shoreham. This is the machine.
Not
It's
the original.
No, this is a replica of the machine, which we're still building at the present time. We hope to get it finished in 4 years for the centenary of Shoreham.
So it's made of wood, but there must have been something on these bits.
Yep, we've still got the fabric to go on as yet,
Right.
as well as the engine is missing at the present time. So
Okay.
when that's done and we've got the seat in, that'll be one complete aeroplane.
And are you going to try and fly it?
No.
No, I'm sure you
No.
wouldn't get permission, would
No,
you?
absolutely. It's not today's standards.
He was local, wasn't he, Piffard?
He was. Harold went to school just north of the airfield here at Lancing College.
Right. And wasn't there a box of champagne involved somewhere along
The
the
champagne
lines?
did come along in 1910. The landlord of a Sussex Pad hotel wanted to present a box of champagne if he could fly this aeroplane to the hotel north of the airfield.
And did it make it?
Just.
Oh, so it wasn't a smooth flight then?
It was a fairly smooth flight, I guess, but it was in a straight line, long hop, 35 foot off the ground, but it didn't turn around and come back. They had to turn it around on the ground.
Oh, I see. Well, pretty cool. And I mean, the building, the airport building is fantastic.
It is 1930s building, Art Deco design. It's a lovely building. A lot of people come to the airfield purely because of the building and not necessarily the aeroplanes.
Well, that's really cool. I mean, I would love to get on a plane and have a go, but I've got a bit more walking to do, so thank you very much, David.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
What I love about this river is you've got two huge extremes. Airport there, busy, busy, busy. Beautiful architecture there, and that's where I'm heading for. Evidence of more 21st century transport systems dominate the horizon. As I head further upriver, the channel narrows and there is one feature of the landscape I have to visit, the Cathedral of the Downs. You can't walk the Adur River without noticing this building, the famous Lancing College Chapel. I'm going to have a little bit of a look round. Work began on the chapel in 1868, a stunning example of Gothic revival with its soaring upward lines and great simplicity. It's both a national monument and a masterpiece of 19th century design. The rose window, consisting of 30,000 pieces of stained glass with a diameter of 32 feet, is one of the largest in England. Lancing College has grounds of 550 acres bordering the river. It was founded in 1848 by Nathaniel Woodard and is now a renowned public school. But there is a side to college life here that few know about. Their 40-acre farm run by Derek Cleaver. Hi Derek.
Hello, Charlie.
Who are these guys?
These are 3 alpacas.
And who's who?
We've got Bassett here.
Who looks like he's had a bit of a fight with a pair of shears.
He's been sheared out. That's Bassett, and this is Echo, who's got to be sheared next. And then we've got Chocolate.
Oh, and the wool. I mean, the wool feels so soft.
The fleece is very highly, for the textile industry, is very, very good.
Do you sell it?
Well, we sell it at a very reasonable price to spinning guilds mainly.
And are they related to llamas? Because they look like they've just been shrunk
Yeah, they
down.
are related. They are the smaller version of the llama. These ones, fortunately for us, they don't spit.
No, they seem quite docile and quite...
Well, they're handled quite a bit.
Right,
That's
so
the
they're
reason.
used to it. Now, the question has to be, how comes a school has got a farm with so many different animals in?
It was started up 20 odd years ago, is really to give an extra activity to pupils.
Right, so
in
like
the afternoons.
animal husbandry.
Animal husbandry, yeah, they learn animal husbandry, vet work, all the real chores of cleaning out and everything. But also we have other schools coming in.
So the animals that are here, where have they all come from?
Well, we got quite a lot of rescue animals here, such as the pot-bellied pigs. There's 2 pot-bellied pigs, of which one of them was actually kept in a flat in Hove seafront as a piglet.
But they get huge. They get really, well, not huge, but they're big.
Well, the authorities were called in, and we've got Boris now.
Oh, Boris, fantastic name. Well, I'm going to go and have a look at the other guys, and I'll leave you with your very hairy friends here.
Super.
They're cute, aren't they? Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, Charlie.
Hello. So off I head towards the South Downs and my final destination at Coombes. I've left the industrial heritage of the river mouth behind, and the beauty of this flat Sussex landscape stretches before me. I'm now in true farming country. Now, over the years, the Adur River's floodplain has been drained for farming purposes, but the good news is they're turning it back to wetland. Vast tracts of wetland have been reclaimed for farming in the past, but the loss of these plains has had a devastating effect on the countryside. Some local people are trying to return the landscape to its natural state and to reintroduce indigenous plant species. I'm here to meet one of the pioneers, farmer Trevor Passmore. Trevor, what a fantastic meadow! It's wonderful here, isn't it?
It is. It's a beautiful part of the
Lots of
countryside.
Poppies and mayweed and thistles.
Yeah, we're putting it back down to what it used to be, the old-fashioned meadows.
So this was wet, was it, originally?
Originally it was very wet.
From the river coming?
That's right. And then we drained it all and grew wheat when everybody wanted it. And now what we're doing is putting it back to the original wetlands, and we're hoping that all the wetland plants will come.
That's
with
fantastic. Now this little thing looks like a poplar to me.
It is. It's actually a black poplar.
Because they're quite special. There's not many left now in this area.
There was
are
only 33.
Right.
And they have to be grown from cuttings. And they particularly like wetland, and they like their feet wet. We put several in down here, and when we put some of them in, people kept stopping in the winter saying, "Why have we planted trees in puddles?" And we said,
because that's what we wanted to do.
That's what they like.
That's right.
Yeah. So it's still a working farm though, isn't it?
Very much so.
Yeah.
We still graze cattle. The cattle we're going to use are going to be the pedigree Sussex. We're going back to the old
So you're
pedigree
going back to
Sussex.
the old ones
That's
as
right.
well.
That's right.
Fantastic. So I guess these posts might be to protect this guy.
They are, but not only that, they're local chestnut posts as well. So we're trying to keep everything
Going.
local and everything.
Well, I'll give you a
yeah.
hand then.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, this is to stop the cattle from eating it, the deer,
Yeah.
the sheep,
Rabbits.
the lot.
Anything.
Cool.
Yeah.
So there's a hole somewhere.
There is.
There it is, there it is. That one goes in there then.
That one's in there.
Right. This is the easy bit. The hard bit's going to be whacking them in.
Absolutely. And
So
one more.
how tall will these guys get?
I think about sort of 40, 50 feet.
They look fab.
And they end up very much in the shape of a bell.
The cattle are like keeping cool under those.
Well, that's the idea.
Now,
We hope
I
so.
know that the next bit is really hard work.
It is.
So I might carry on walking
All right.
and leave you to it. Very
Thank you
nice
very much.
meeting you.
Absolutely. And you.
Okay. I wish Trevor luck with his black poplars, but I've come to walk and not work. Well, I'm at the foot of the South Downs, just over there, and that's the end of my walk. But do you know what? It's such a nice evening. I'm going to keep going for a bit longer.